Hello and welcome to Who Dares Rolls TV. I am your host, Mike B, and a warm welcome of May the 4th to you. May the 4th be with you. 'Tis Star Wars Day in a probably subdued state. If you're a subscriber to Disney Plus, you will have the latest, the last of the whole series, The Rise of Skywalker, to watch if you haven't already owned it. I'm not going to go on a rant into that because I thought it was a fucking abomination. But yeah, it's the new trilogy was a mixed bag, wasn't it, really? I'll be honest, I'll go out and say that Force Awakens I quite enjoyed, thought it was really good. Set up stuff, I thought, oh, there's lots of possibilities, where's this going to go? I've kind of enjoyed the nostalgia value of it. It was all right, I thought. Then the second one, I thought was actually really good. The Last Jedi, I really enjoyed it. I had issues with some of it, but generally I liked that it zigged instead of zagged, and I know this split the Star Wars viewing public, the geekdom was shattered asunder, but I quite enjoyed that it did subvert so many expectations of what you expect from a Star Wars movie, and kind of burnt bridges and trash storylines and kind of felt like it was new and different. There was moments in it that were clunky, I will admit, and some of the character motivations, some of the other stuff wasn't great. But on the whole, actually what it did, I thought it was really good. And then we got Rise of Skywalker, which did so much to then roll back and almost be like a sequel to the first movie, The Force Awakens, and kind of almost ignore a lot of what happened, or even completely undermine. I don't know. I watched it again subsequently because I'm Star Wars. At the end of the day, I love Star Wars, but I really struggled with that. I've watched Rise of Skywalker subsequently at home. It was all right when I knew really what I was getting, but yeah, it was so much of expectation of what they could have done, and we kind of fell back into a lot of stuff there. And the Emperor came back. Why was so much was not explained? So much was not explained, yeah, I don't know. They're kids. They're Space Wizard movies. At the end of the day, they're Space Wizards running around with laser swords, battering each other. I just feel like that final one just. I don't know, but there it is. That's a video for another time. Anyway, May the 4th. Go and watch your favourite Star Wars movie. Probably mine, I think, is probably a lot of Star Wars geeks is Empire Strikes Back. Still a pretty damn good, solid movie of the whole series. But I like Rogue One of the newer stuff. I thought Rogue One actually, it's really grown on me. And I quite enjoyed what that did. I don't think there's any of them which are terrible. Phantom Menace is not great really when you watch it again, if I'm honest with you. It's got some standout moments and Darth Maul and some great action and the fight at the end and all that sort of bits, but yeah, I don't know, but in comparison to some of the later stuff, I don't know, maybe I like that there was a continuous storyline in the prequels and that we actually kind of built the myth and lore and everything, and then we had the original trilogy, and so much kind of stuff the new ones were didn't do that. There were so many shortcuts and so much stuff not explained. You kind of, I mean, as I say, they're not high art. But there we go. We're Star Wars. Anyway, I've gone off on a TV there. I went off a complete variation there. But there you go. That's my opinions on Star Wars movies. I will still watch them all at some point, I think, soon. Gather the boys. And I can't wait for Isaac when he's a bit older. Because he's 2 at the moment, so he's nearly 2, so he's not really of an age, but a few years' time when he's at the point to kind of the wonderment and joy of the Star Wars galaxy, then definitely at some point we'll sit and we'll do the whole lot. But yes, yeah, so Star Wars anyway. So as it being that, I thought I'd go through some Star Wars board games, some of my top board games, the ones I really enjoy. There's a lot of them. Not all of them are great. That's a lot over the years, but I think I've got 5, I think, really, which are the ones that I own or like or have played and enjoyed. So I'll just quickly run through them. So Star Wars games, you're going to play a Star Wars game tonight. Ones I really like, Imperial Assault, I think is a solid, really good game. I really enjoyed it. It's that skirmishy miniature game. It's like a dungeon crawl, really. I liked a lot of what it did. It did stuff that it took the Descent model, the engine, tweaked it. I like that it did that. You never knew quite what was going on in the scenario that the Dark Side player did. Which I need to sit down at some point and play using an app, actually see what that's like, because I've never done it, and I've still not really played all of the campaign jabbers. And the most recent one, the last one they did, which was the one on set in Coruscant, Heads of the Empire, I think it was, or something. Where it is? No, can't even see the box. Ooh, Heart of the Empire, that was what it was. So there's a bunch of that. I've had a rule on my Imperial Assault that we will only play when I've painted the miniatures, which has proved a great deal of issues for some of my Sunday night crew, because we're still desperately waiting for me to finish painting Times of Lothal ones, which brings in the Rebels characters into the game. So we're going to play that soon. Hopefully after lockdown, I might get 5 minutes to finish painting it. But yes, Imperial Assault, really good. Really enjoyed that. As a really good evenings of it. I like the campaign play. I like how the characters develop. It's Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. Daring do and stuff. I've only ever played the bad guys, the Empire, because they were kind of my favourites growing up, and I enjoy that sort of GM-y role that you have, that you can pull some punches and do some stuff. So yeah, Imperial Assault, really solid, really good, fun. A bunch of you get round and kind of reenact Star Wars. Another one I think a very close second to that is Rebellion, and especially with the expansion on board, which kind of sorts out some of the combat on it. I think Rebellion, for original trilogy fans, is Star Wars in the box. It's essentially a sandboxy thing. It's a 2-player game, though it can play 4, and it works quite well as 4. Is the Empire versus the Rebels. The Rebels are hiding out somewhere. You've got to find their hidden base. That's on a galactic scale. So you've got planets and characters recurring. And it does a really good job of kind of telling that sort of alternate version of the Star Wars movies. Something in me kind of says I really almost wish that they'd maybe pushed it just that step further to really give you that option to completely alter the original series and have different characters become Jedis and stuff. You know, they didn't quite do that. But I think if you're a fan of the original trilogy and love Star Wars, then Rebellion is probably the real one that you can just play that, and it is. You're playing Star Wars. You're telling a story, and enacting and all that wonderful stuff, building a Death Star. Brilliant stuff. Really enjoy that. So that's cracking. Then it kind of falls off at that point. There's Outer Rim, which is kind of Firefly, but Star Wars. It's enjoyable. It desperately needs an expansion, in my opinion. It feels a little bit kind of like a base set waiting for. There's been vicious rumour that we might get one. It's okay. It's a clunky a little bit. It just feels a little bit, it's lacking some depth, a bit of thing. Definitely, I think after about 3 or 4 plays, it really starts to then feel very samey. There's not any surprises in there. It's doing some interesting things. The deck, a Venture kind of deck, which is numbered, which took a sort of hint from the Fallout board game if you've played that. That was all kind of cool. You get to play some interesting characters in there. I'm surprised they haven't put a Mandalorian expansion to it. Maybe that's going to come. But yeah, you know, Outer Rim, well, if you not play Firefly, or if you like the idea of a pick up and deliver, but in Star Wars, then it definitely does that. Whether it's as good as Firefly, I don't know, because I quite enjoy Firefly as well. Or there's Zia, which I've never played actually, but I hear is very good, and it was one I kind of on the fence off. But I own Firefly and now I own Outer Rim. Kind of seems redundant, but yes, quite enjoy Outer Rim as a couple of hours of good sort of Star Warsy fun. Not the best, but all right. Then there's X-Wing, the original X-Wing. I've not played the second edition of it, but I had some of the models of X-Wing, not a lot. I just kind of had a few of the little bits, just play with it. And as like a little miniature skirmishy sort of space combat game, I thought it was really solid. As I say, I never really picked much more up from the base set other than a couple more ships, so we could have like little dogfight stuff. And I thought the mechanisms and how it worked and what it did was cool. It was a cash sink. And I kind of was like, oh, no, I'm not going to go down that well. I'd already kind of deep delved into Imperial Assault anyway. I own a lot of that, most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. And so, yeah, X-Wing was nice. It was cool. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good mechanisms. I don't know what the second version did really differently, but that was really good if you're looking for something that's like a little 2-player thing. I know that they did Armada, which was the capital ships version of it, which was just ridiculous money to get into that. So I kind of didn't go down that road. But that was kind of cool. And then I think one last one of the Star Wars games, which actually is quite good, is the Risk Star Wars. They did the Black Edition and just a standard basic one, which reenacted the end of Return of the Jedi, that sort of climatic battle. You had the fight on the Death Star between Luke and Vader. You've got the Endor battle going on and the space battle going on. It's a 2-player game. It kind of re-envisaged probably one of the holy grails of Star Wars games, which is Queen's Gambit, which was a much more kind of miniatures heavy and cool kind of thing, which was based on the Phantom Menace, which had the climatic battle of Phantom Menace played out over 3 boards with a lot more bigger production value in miniatures and stuff. But that's like impossible to get short of a mortgage. So yeah, if you're looking for something which is kind of cheap and cheerful and good, Star Wars, and still has that Star Wars feel, then definitely the Risk Star Wars, whatever version you pick up, really actually quite solid. Really enjoyed that. I've played it for a little while, but it's one that I played a couple of times with Ollie. And we enjoyed it. That was pretty solid if you're looking for a 2-player one. So yeah, they're my Star Wars games, the ones. There was a bunch of others out there. I remember the old Decipher CCG. I had that, a lot of that. That was all right. Never played the living card game from FFG. And there's a bunch of other miniature-based stuff. But I think those, probably the core good Star Wars, Imperial Assault Rebellion, are probably my 2 if you had to pick one of them, then it'd be a fight between those 2. Possibly Rebellion if you're an original trilogy fan. But there we go. There's my Star Wars games. I would quite like to play some of them. I don't know if I will. Maybe have a go at Risk, 2-player game of that or something. So yeah, there we go. Star Wars. Anyway, that's it. Star Wars stuff. New stuff. What's going on? Kickstarter. Well, we can't miss the obvious elephant in the room of Frosthaven. Finally finished funding a couple of days ago to the sum of 12 million. Nearly, I think it was over 12. It was nearly 13 million, which is an insane amount of money. I mean, I thought it would do well, but yeah, that did crazy well. Personally, I loved Gloomhaven. We've covered this already. My Sunday night team, my group, adored Gloomhaven, and Frosthaven is more of the same, but lots of tweaks and lots of polish on top of it, and it just looks fascinating. I mean, if it's even as good as Gloomhaven, I don't care. It's brilliant. But yeah, so whatever your view puts on that, it's a silly amount of money, definitely, and it felt like they could have probably maybe thrown more in the box. But it's a big box, and there's a new character was added at the very end. I can't wait. When all this is done next year, when we get Frosthaven, I'm going to be happy. I'll be in lockdown again. Happily be in lockdown again with Frosthaven. What else is on there? There is Ankh is finishing up from Call Me or Not doing quite as well as Frosthaven, to be fair to it. It's the final part of the Eric Lang Dudes on the Map trilogy, set in ancient Egypt. We've covered it. I am backing it at the moment. I was very much on the fence. There's been the financial wobbles of reported a little while ago of Simon. I haven't seen much of that since. It's full of miniatures. It's overproduced, absolutely. There is a lot of plastic bling in the box that you're not going to get at retail, so it kind of makes it just one I'll probably pick up eventually. So you know what, I might as well take the hit and get it now. Whether I'll play with it all or not, it's just kind of completionist of me now. Is like, well, I'll have all 3 of the games. At the moment, Blood Rage is still definitely my favourite, but hey, this is probably my last Call Mini back, to be honest with you. And I'll go out in a blaze of glory of Ankh. Have a look at it. It's got its last, I think it's that last 12 or so hours running on it. So have a look, see if it takes your fancy. It is overproduced. It is a lot of plastic. I get all of that. Looks kind of interesting as a strategic sort of dudes on the map type game, different to the other 2. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, some of us, we can't resist sometimes that plastic crack, can we? I've also seen Tapeworm on Kickstarter, which is by the guy who did The Binding of Isaac. It's a very simple sort of little card game of building tapeworms. That kind of looks grim and entertaining and twisted and all manner of fucked up, which kind of in my wheelhouse. So yeah, I've looked at that. I'm well back. That actually is. It's kind of intrigued me as just something throwaway and different. So there's that. That's the Kickstarter stuff. I've also been playing a little bit of League of Legends. They've done Legends of Runeterra, which is an online card game, a digital version. Now it's kind of like a Hearthstone challenger. Hearthstone, Blizzard do some stupid shit. I will acknowledge this, but Hearthstone is one I've played for years, and I really like the interface. I really like that. It's quite simple to pick up. Granted, I've been playing it since it kind of came out, so I've got a massive card deck. I haven't really put much money into it, to be fair. I occasionally picked a few bits up, but I've got a lot of play out of that for what I've actually put in, and I quite enjoy it. So I've just started messing around with Legends of Runeterra, which is, as I say, by the League of Legends guys. There's an awful lot of free stuff if you log in, and daily rewards and stuff you can earn. So there's not really much of a paywall that I can see at the moment to it. I'm not really up on all the League of Legends characters and stuff, so that's kind of over my head. But it's quite an interesting style of play. It's definitely a little bit, it's more in depth than what Hearthstone does. I've not really properly sunk my teeth into it. I've only played really like scraped the bow of it. Scraped the bow? I don't know, just touched upon it. But it looks interesting. It looks fun. It's really polished, really looks gorgeous. And it's definitely something to get your brain around and think about. And it's free. And as I say, there's daily rewards, there's lots of XP to be got. So if you're not doing anything, then take a look at it. It looks pretty cool. I can't remember what my login is. As WDR666 or something is going to be my ID on there if you want to find me. Who dares roll 666? But yeah, I'd recommend that. Have a look at that. Played a bit of that. Quite interesting. So there's that. What else has been going on? Well, I went and rummaged through my hard drive because it's getting a bit full of crap. Coffee. And I found a bunch of videos that I've not edited from like over the last couple of months. So there's some stuff I thought I'd lost, but it's there. So I've got the Lifeform Nemesis comparison, which I'd filmed a chunk of I was going to go back to. So what I'll do is I'm going to edit that down, see what I get out of that, see what that says, we'll see what it does. Interesting. I'll pop that out. It's something. There's also a couple of Kickstarter board gamesy stuff. There's Outbreak video. I've got to tweak and finish that. That's kind of half finished. There is the Geode one. So I'm going to kind of wrap all this stuff up and get it done. I think we'll see what it comes out like. There's also there was a couple of others. There's Century Spice Road on there. There's a couple of other bits. So there's a bunch of video stuff actually that I've got kind of filmed in some capacity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and try over this week, try and edit them down, get some stuff so there's more content. There's less stuff for me to film. Editing is going to be the issue. I may have to film some insert stuff to finish them off. But there's stuff. So there, yeah, some more stuff. I have promised it over the months or periods of time. But yeah, so I will have a look what I can salvage of that, what I can do with it. I'll put it out. So that's kind of it. The Golden Geek of 2019, the actual awards of that have dropped today. I have it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a separate video of my reaction to the Golden Geek Awards 2019. I haven't looked at them yet. I don't know who won what. So what I'll do is I'll film a separate video in a moment, which I'll put out subsequent to this video, which will be my straight off the cuff reaction to the Golden Geek 2019 Awards. See what I think of it. I don't know. We'll see. So that's going on. And that's kind of it, really. Yeah. I mean, I'm not playing much board games at the moment. Hopefully, I played Godfather. So the Eric Lang game, Godfather, Call Me the Not, it's actually quite a simple game to teach. Escalates in its strategies. It's a good game. I need to review it. I'll put that on the list. So I got the family together, the kids and the missus. She doesn't do complex games. She just likes simple stuff. Just as soon as the over complexity of stuff builds up, she just goes, "Oh my god!" She works with spreadsheets and stuff. She's not stupid. I'm not saying that, but yeah, she enjoys simple pleasures of board games. However, we gave it a go, and the kids really enjoyed it. Ollie really enjoyed it. I think that sort of deep, flavorful bit of strategy that the game offers, and it kind of escalates. It's like a knife fight in a lift that kind of escalates round by round. So it's a real easy teach, but it becomes much more complex as you play it. Yes, so Liz, challenged by it, enjoyed it a bit, but she much prefers simpler games. So we're going to play something different next time. But it was nice that I need to get my teeth into some board games. So maybe me and Ollie are going to play a few 2-player stuff or something, just so I can get my fix. So yeah, we played that. Other than that, we haven't really played much else. We've been online. I mean, essentially all really I've been playing is more of the stuff. We're still deep into Diablo at the moment, on the seasonal play of that. something to do, keeping us entertained. And that's it, really. I think that is where we are currently at this point in what's going on. Who knows what's next? So there you go. So that's me for the moment. There will be the Golden Geek reaction video coming up, hopefully the next day or so, or maybe even following swiftly on the heels of this video. And then once I get a chance over the next few evenings and stuff, when I get some time to myself, I'll dig through those videos I've dug up and I'll edit them into some capacity and I'll pop them out and we'll see what they have to say for themselves. You'll see me in various variations of beard length and haircut. So that'd be interesting for you. Yeah, obviously this is my lockdown beard and hair. I haven't cut my hair, I haven't got my beard. I'm kind of growing it out. I'm going to go for the full Grizzly Adams approach. Right, anyway, I am rambling now. So there we go. There we have it. There is the May the 4th news for you. Go watch Star Wars or play Star Wars. Oh, yes, thank you for I think it was Andrew got in touch about the Prisoner Blu-ray box set. There's a quite decent price on that, so yes, you're correct. So I'm going to pick that up. Payday's Thursday, so I'll treat myself to a Prisoner Blu-ray box set so I can sit and watch that with son number one. Dropped in the post yesterday was my Phantasm Blu-ray set that I pre-ordered a while back. It's beautiful. Love a bit of Phantasm, so I'm definitely going to hit that soon and watch that. Some nice extras on there. And that's it for the minute, I think. Yes. Look after yourself, stay safe out there. I will be back soon with some videos, as we've said. And hopefully once we get all of this out of the way, I can start playing games and I can actually do some more videos. But for the time being, thanks for tuning in. All well, stay safe, and see you soon.